Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Madkings versus Ravens will be the next one on the menu. My name is DKTruman. I am once again joined by Bowie, which is, well, this, at least for me, this season's last appearance in Division 2 on the regular scale. Of course, there's a chance that we have tiebreakers, but on the regular season, for me, this is the last series, unfortunately, and it actually does make me a little bit sad. What about you, Bowie?
I'm super happy. I will never have to look at you again, and I'm gonna be so happy, free from the humiliation of having to, be compared to
They're still
Saitama.
TI
You're so
qualifiers, you
strong.
know?
You're, oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I'm also pretty sad. Like, I feel like Division Two SA is probably the most underrated region of the entire DPC because I feel like you see, actually some quality games. You see fights like no other region probably has, and this is very, very. There's a lot of stakes in this game because, as you said, we could have tiebreakers, and it is all about the results of this actual match.
Ravens need to win right now if they want to qualify directly. If Ravens lose, however, there is going to be a three-way tiebreaker between Ravens, Madkings, and the Dreamers. So it is on the Madkings side. They have everything in their own control. If they want to qualify for Division 1 next season, they just need to win, now and in that three-way tiebreaker. But yeah, that is that. Madkings definitely looking pretty hot. They started the season off. I think they were 1-2 at one stage, and slightly got written off. I still had hope for them because they looked so good in the games that they did manage to win. And now they're at a stage where they could actually make a very surprising upset play. Because Ravens, they were 4-0. They were looking like the top dogs, the king of Division 2 this season, and right now it's a little bit scary. It comes down to one final best of 3.
Yeah, it was crazy because like Mad Kings, they started 3-0. They beat G Pride, they beat Noping, and they beat Self Team all 2-0. But then they started fighting the big boys. They lost to Curitiba, and I think they lost to Balrogs. No, they actually beat Balrogs. They lost to Dreamers, and it was a 2-1. So like the matches that they lost were arguably against the best teams. And now the question is, who's the best team? Is it Ravens that is 5-1 right now, or is it the Mad King?
Yeah, we'll probably have another very long discussion though about dads and dad.
Yes, please. Those are my favorite. Just hearing about your, how bald your dad is, and if he
How gone they are
usually
both
hangs
of
out
our
or not.
dads.
Yeah,
But luckily enough, we
my
have
dad.
the actual dad right here in the game, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they can bring. Because Mad Kings, they are a team that is very well renowned for their hyper-aggressive playstyle in the early game. I think Ravens can keep up with that. I know Nengo is a really solid mid laner in that regard to try and stop it. He also likes playing like the Void Spirit and such, which is a very active hero. Dad is also more of like a strength carry, I would say. The Wraith Kings, the CKs kind of heroes, which is a bit more active in the earlier parts of the game, which it could be very favorable if they want to beat the Mad Kings drafts because, well, Mad Kings just. Their drafts are like all over the place, but they all make sense. And that is really the mind of Red Monster on that lineup. I can't stop giving that man compliments because I love the way they coordinate everything on the team. And also they've got Jackie Tokyo, and we all know, there's a Toronto Tokyo out there that's really good. But Jackie Tokyo is also a very solid performer in his own right. We'll be heading into the draft right now, Bowie, to see what heroes do get picked up, and that is the old classic R's and T Enigma that most teams actually first face ban.
They did play RM Enigma, but yes, that's also a hero that he can definitely play. And I mean, we're talking about RM and the fact that he used to be Bisco's coach. I also feel like the pillar for Ravens is Benjas. He is by far their most experienced player, and probably someone that talks to them a lot, gives a lot of these late game calls. So in a way, it is a strategic match in between how RM looks and perceives Dota versus Benjas. I feel like a lot of the knowledge from both teams is coming from these two players. And I do love Raven's opener as well. I think this Beastmaster hero counters Enigma pretty hard in the game, but then you have the Enchantress, which kind of counters him in lane. You just steal the Eidolons for yourself. You just right-click them because you're an Enchantress. And you're gonna go with Mikado. All right, very different openers, like super pushing slash early game from Ravens versus this like late game sort of beast Enigma Coddle.
Well, to be fair, Enigma Coddle can also be very strong in the early game. Depends on how you play it. For instance, well, they banned out the Tiny, but Tiny Enigma is a nice combo in that regard as well, where you toss him back. He tends to go for, Flads early, so you have pushing power behind it, plus Coddle can, early-wise, do a lot of work. It is also the big question, what kind of Coddle is it going to be? Are we going to get to see a support? Mid Coddle is still a hero that gets played pretty much most of the time, and considering the bans on the Ember and Puck, it's looking more likely that it will be a Jackie Tokyo mid Coddle.
I agree. I definitely agree with your assessment there. They are also banned Kanka, which is kind of a thorn on Coddle's shoes usually. So already looking like a pretty decent draft by Madkings. Also, I don't think this stat gets talked about enough. Jackie Tokyo, by far, highest MMR player in Division 2. Guy is ranked 16 right now. Has been highly ranked throughout all of the Tour 3. So I think he's really one of the like brightest shining talents coming from Division 2 at the moment.
And that's kind of the beauty of this Madkings roster, right? Like most of those players, I mean, T we've seen somewhere before. Adrian also, but Adrian's been playing like in smaller teams and not really DPC experience. Just I think he played in Inverse and Stratic previously, but just really short spins, both of them being 3 to 4 months. So not really much information out of the player. Then we've got Jackie Tokyo, which I did not even know whatsoever. Pablo as well, another player that is just fairly unknown. The only one that we really knew was Red Monster, and we also kind of like really didn't know, because as a coach you don't get the same stage as a player does. So it was kind of a team that came out of nowhere and just surprised and blindsided us completely.
For sure. Oh, they're gonna grab the Zeus, so probably 4, but could also be a core Zeus. I think I've seen, I think it was Quincy Crew, they played mid Zeus, they lost with it, but it definitely felt strong. I still am of the opinion that support Zeus is a little bit better, but we'll see what they do with it. Definitely good to actually get vision of the Coddle. I think I hear that you love might pop up here just because they need a gap closer on Ravens, and a lot of the standard ones were already banned. That Voice Spirit could be coming as a way to shut down this Coddle.
Possibly. I also don't really mind the Zeus mid, to be fair, because it is up against the Coddle. So that means you're probably just gonna have a mid laner that can farm next to him, pretty much. You're not gonna kill each other. Alchemist is also a good ban, because if it is a Coddle mid, then Alchemist gets picked. He just farms the exact same as Coddle does. They don't kill each other, and that's kind of, against some heroes, that's very scary. For instance, another one that springs to mind every single time would be the Winter Wyvern, laning against the Coddle, because Coddle can't kill him. Wyvern can't really kill the Coddle either. But a Wyvern having an even lane is already just a massive buff for the hero, because that's the only thing that the hero kind of struggles with, is his laning stage is just horrible.
Yeah, definitely struggles in the right-click damage department, overall tower pressure. But I'm not sure we would see a Wyvern. I mean, it would be awesome if we do. But I do like this Clockwork, because it's another hero. I mean, considering this Coddle is made, it's another hero that could be picked to counter it, and they actually snatch it up. If this Zeus is middle, sure, now he has that little jump to get out of the cogs, but I still feel like the hookshot could be enough of lockdown so that he pushes the Zeus away, and now he's jumping inside the cogs instead of out of it. There's definitely a lot of things Clock can do, even though Zeus is a better matchup versus that hero than he used to be in the past.
Yeah, the Heavenly Jump is pretty good. Well, pretty good's an understatement. Heavenly Jump is kind of broken.
Oh yeah.
Like, why? Just that swap from the shard to the well, his third spell is just a massive boost to the hero. Because that's, with some heroes like Zeus used to be the case, he kind of felt like a Skywrath where you just die. Same with the Ancient Apparition, 0 mobility, 0 survivability, you just straight up die. And right now it's a lot more mobile in that regard. And there's a Madkings hero that they also love, the Adrian Bloodseeker. It is so aggressive on the early game, but the Dusa does mean that the Ravens are looking to take it late.
Alright, Beastmaster Dusa. Pretty scary lineup too, fighting too. They have a lot of damage coming out of that Zeus, a lot of siege coming out of the Beastmaster Medusa. I definitely like Raven's draft a little bit more. I think Madkings draft could work, but looks harder to execute, generally speaking. They don't have that much lockdown. We don't have like all of their lockdowns a little bit meh. Malphite, battery assault, hookshot. So would love to see a hero that kind of ties it all together here. I'm assuming the clock is a 5, so they're either gonna let's pick a 4 for Madkings or a mid hero if the Kato is indeed going to be a position of 4. So yeah, we love a stun. A lot of the mid heroes were banned already, and they're still banning mid heroes. Like, this Kato has to be mid, right? It just feels like a waste of a lot of bans if they, at the end of the day, just pick kind of like a spirit hero anyways.
Yeah, it is kind of, it should be a Kato. It could be a Kato 4, to be fair. I wouldn't mind that too much, to be fair, because
it has to be. They banned all of the spirits but the Earth one.
I mean, it's very, 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 very likely.
Oh.
I guess that's a Enigma 5 then, and the Razor offlane this game? Or is that a Razor mid, which would be even weirder?
No. It's either safe lane or... they have a lot of flexes going for them, because, like, I guess Bloodseeker could be 3 if they really want to flex it. But Enigma is definitely a 5, I think. I guess he could be clock mid? Is that an option?
I do... You know, 9 did it, but I don't really think anyone else has the balls to try it. Nyx Assassin. Okay, so it is going to be a Zeus mid.
Okay.
A Zeus versus Kato. Enigma 5, Razor offlane, Adrian Bloodseeker. Okay, looking at these two drafts, Madkings again have that super high aggressive early game kind of draft, and Ravens, they just... I mean, the Nyx especially added in, it just screams that they want to delay this game.
I like this Nyx pick. I think, generally speaking, it's a terrible hero, but it is very good versus Kato. It is very good versus Enigma. Just being able to use that carapace from outside vision with the OT, it pretty much just kills the Kato. They don't have that much jump, which is the only problem I see here. I wouldn't hate an early blink from Benjaz after the Helm of the Overlord. I think that would be a way for them to actually get on top of Jackie Tokyo. But yeah, I still kind of want to give Ravens the edge. I think they overall have... Beastmaster Medusa, to me, seems top tier. And at the same time, you're addressing Scotto, addressing a lot of the heroes with the last pick Nyx. Usually, it's hard to get a lot of value out of those last pick supports, but I think Ravens actually got it, so I'm going with them.
Okay, yeah, I think it's kind of a rough one to really predict. I kind of like the Madkings draft a little bit more. I think that they're going to be able to get active a little bit sooner. Okay, well, your cam is unfortunately gone. I think they're going to be active a little bit sooner than their opponents, and especially like the Dusa plus Zeus feels very greedy, and especially in the early game can be severely problematic to deal with, to try and take a fight on. I think the Nyx is going to be very crucial, but if Madkings get even a slight advantage on the laning stage, I think they can, with their lineup, get the very hefty snowball going, and that's what I'm worried for here, because that's exactly how they like to win their games. They just snowball. You don't really care. Like, the Enigma is there. And possibly, if you get lucky, you could get a nice black hole, but black hole is really not even in the slightest bit in importance for the Madkings roster, and I think that especially is a crucial aspect in their approach. We'll be jumping into the game, so you don't have to fix the cam right now. And we will be heading out to see what will transpire. Of course, the game always gets paused at the start of it, so might as well have a little bit of a chatter.
Yeah. No pauses this time, though. And it is a very, very quick smoke on both sides. So we're going to see that, the early fight for the vision. Who's going to be able to drop the ward? Jack Tokyo is definitely not going to be that guy because he got spotted.
Yeah, you're not that guy. In this case, normally he is that guy. But yeah, Jackie Tokyo, they just have such strong early game heroes. Razor, Bloodseeker, and Coddle is going to be able to get a lot of farm. I do think that the Nyx is going to be the most important hero. Desmar on that Nyx assassin to be able to scout out smoke gangs and tank them for the most part, and also be able to deal with Jackie Tokyo on the Coddle, because he's kind of the only one that can deal with this Coddle, right? They have no jump. They have no catch. They have nothing on that regard for the Ravens until Beastmaster gets Blink.
Yep, definitely. And that might take a while. We usually talk about, Beastmasters just suffering in lane, generally speaking. And this is a game where RM is going to be denying a lot of the creeps. That's also a game where his boars, in the lane at least, are going to be kind of useless, which is why he already has that wild access learned. So, could be a lane where Adrian just gets away with murder. Especially if he gets an early Orb of Venom. Not that usual on Bloodseeker, but because they're going to have this experience advantage from the Enigma, I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Would not be that too bad to wield that to try and win out the bottom lane. Enigma is, of course, just going to deny the range creep every single time, so it will be slightly more annoying to deal with. And, yeah, you're just gonna miss that experience. Desmar actually got the experience, I guess. He was close enough in range.
Sure. Two melee heroes though, fighting against. Oh,
easy Eidolon kills. There we go. That's nice money at the very least.
Get the deny. RM. All right, he gets the split.
Wild Axis. Okay, yeah, it does magical. It used to do physical damage, right?
It's been a while. It's why it kind of they started going for this build against the Terror Blades and Nagas just because they started doing magic damage, and it definitely hurts in lane now. Doesn't scale as much, but pretty strong early on.
And I was thinking because the Eidolons have like a 70% magic damage reduction or some BS. Let's see, 59% magic resistance, but they have 10% physical. That's why it was back in the day. You probably could have been just like Wild Axes, they're dead kind of shenanigan. In mid, Nengo spamming away at Jackie Tokyo, but he does the exact same. However, it's easier to dodge for Nengo than it is for Jackie.
Definitely. No stick on Jackie as well, which is pretty. I feel Kato is such a dumb hero that he just gets whatever he wants. Doesn't have to adapt to anything because he just farms, shoves waves, stacks. We don't have any of the camps blocked on either Madkings or Ravens, which means there's already a stack on the side of Zeus.
Top lane, he is full static linked and taken down. Dad being bullied back by Pablo. And that is, well, that's not too bad for RZT getting a first blood, and it does show that level 1 static link plus Battery Assault Cogs is already enough to get a kill topside, which will probably be the same against the Deuce if Dad ever walks a bit too far.
Razor definitely a good response to that Deuce pick. Not only in lane, but later on, if he's farmed enough, we'll be able to just sap all of that damage and make the team fights kind of awkward. For Ravens, they're gonna have to disengage to break the static link off.
Also, if he gets Ags, becomes a really strong pushing hero, which could be something that they might be eyeing out on Madkings before, Deuce gets too big. I've seen some Razors pick up the Ags a little bit more lately. I think
Speaking of Razor.
Dusa, he's out of mana completely. The slow does not connect. RZT a little bit too far away, and Dad will stay alive, but is this really staying alive? Does also give that thirst to the Bloodseeker, so needs to pop the magic stick. Or yeah, otherwise you're making the other lane very tough to win.
And yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this in the last series we cast. The Bloodseeker was against like a Lifestealer. I don't remember the sustain, Timbersaw, right? Whereas in this game, there's no sustain on any of the heroes on the opposite side. So this Bloodseeker can actually bully this Beastmaster quite a bit.
Benya's 2 points in Wild Axes now, but the Eidolons are also pretty good for other aspects. Denying creeps, for instance, harassing. Benjas might be able to get a couple of these Eidolons in the process, though. Yeah, 2 Eidolons, go for more, gets denied by Adrian. It is one at least big plus. Scar in the meantime, top lane is going to get caught inside the cogs again and will just straight up die. Arzenti, oh, does a lot of damage, but look at that bounce from that Mystic Snake. Ooh, Kara is the one getting the kill, luckily enough, and not Dad, but that Mystic Snake bounce just tore his HP completely in half.
He definitely didn't expect. So I guess he maybe had a raindrop charge on cooldown there. That's the only way I can think. Like it was pretty. He was super low HP. Kind of crazy that he kind of forced that, anyways. But talking about the Eidolons, I feel like our M's micros not really up to the standards I expected. I think he fed a lot of Eidolons that were necessary there. But top lane, Jackie Tokyo, go my lord, those cogs. Jesus.
Okay, Dad does die, and so does Kara, and okay, Jackie Tokyo rotation seems to be fairly effective. I just kind of caught the tail end of the Dusa dying. You know, they are an aggressive lineup, and they're never gonna not stop showing it. It's just what they do. It's what they do best. I want to see this against Tier 1 teams. Division 1 teams. I really am curious how other teams would handle this.
By the way, I'm not sure we actually talked about this, but have you seen the recent drama onto who gets to play the mini TI thingy?
No.
Apparently, there's a divergence in the text from Valve. Some texts say that anyone playing for DPC could try to go for the mini TI. And other websites and texts actually say that only the top 8 teams get to play mini TI. And what top 8 means, we're not even sure, because a team from Division 1 gets dropped. Is that top 8, or the team that comes from Division 2 to Division 1 counts as top 8?
I think
you know
both,
what I mean?
because every region has like 2 teams already qualified.
So that, I mean, I guess. So that would mean that for instance, if Madkings doesn't qualify to Division 1, they would not be able to play mini TI. But they're still, it's not decided.
I thought
but a lot of people are talking
was
about that.
About to play TI qualifiers.
I also,
or what?
I mean TI qualifiers, yes.
Yeah, I thought every team was allowed to play TI qualifiers.
Apparently, texts have been changed.
I swear, I read that like 3 weeks ago.
I also read that. Apparently, there are conflicting news now.
Okay,
no
that's just BS. Like, that's just BS.
Yeah, I think it was actually Knoxville. He shared a text that is different from the one that I've seen the same one that you read, basically.
Okay, yeah, because I know that every team is allowed to like boot 2 people from their team, and every team that played DPC was eligible to play the TI qualifiers, which makes sense, I would say.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe just a misunderstanding. But people were talking about that, so I do hope we get to see Madkings actually play for the falls. But anyways, Dusa gets engaged here, doesn't have OT, taking some hefty damage.
Actually, Dad taking so much damage, but they're just going to back off. Nengo did TP through, Zeus ulti used. Pablo in the trees. There is an Arc Lightning, but not a Zap coming in, and Pablo is just going to catch him inside the cogs. But in comes Jackie Tokyo! Oh, he pushes him to the cogs, forces him back, and Nengo is going to die after he TP'd. That is actually just huge. That is massive for Madkings, because Dusa is also forced into the jungle at the same time. Yeah, they lose the clockwork, but that is definitely a worthwhile trade. And Jackie Tokyo, 3 earned of Shadow Charge, got the bots done, top net worth. And they are just, they're Madkings. That's what they do.
Yeah, they're definitely playing like kings right now. Zoning the Dusa, stealing some of these stacks that this Dusa painfully stacked, and pretty much all of it's going to be stolen by Madkings whilst the top tower falls. So just pristine play everywhere. So this Beastmaster got shut down pretty hard. The let's see here, just free farming here. It's looking pretty good for this early game lineup.
Yeah, the Dusa is already in a state where he kind of needs to delay the game as much as possible. He's going Manta style into what looks to be a Daedalus afterwards. Okay, that's an interesting choice. If that would actually be Manta Daedalus, I don't think I've seen that one at all this patch.
Yeah, he might change his mind. You know, with scary players, they feel a lot of emotions while they farm. But in the top side of the map, they find Mr. Kara, and
Enchantress 150 picked up the Enge to counter out the Enigma. Unfortunately, the Enigma is playing on the other side of the map. Jackie Tokyo running towards top. Nengo would be a very nice kill again. And Nengo is behind the tower, kind of spooked that the Coddle is so close every single time. Argentine will be healed as well by the Illuminate Blast and be just fine. While the Zeus did force TP to mid? Mid.
This is a 4k goal lead at 9 minutes. Usually a pretty bad sign. They do have a lot of late game, as we talked about. But I feel like the biggest problem is that they last picked this Nyx in hopes of countering the Coddle. But he's struggling in levels a lot. So that's why they gave him the Tome. But he's still gonna need like level 8, 9 to really start like feeling as a hero that can counter Jackie Tokyo.
And also, you know, Jackie Tokyo is playing top. Nyx is playing bottom. That's also like a big problem. Jackie Tokyo from mid to top the entire time. Now he's going bottom, so now there might be a chance to get a Spike Carapace done.
Even after Tome, he's not level 5. That's so sad.
That's a very poor Nyx. Spike Carapace does come out. Impale will be missed. RM does have that black hole available, so at all situations you kind of need to be a bit spooked. If you are Ravens, you can't willy-nilly walk out without the vision. That's why this Hawk from the Benja's Beastmaster is going to be probably the best spell that they have on Ravens this game.
Most definitely. And this is why I just hate mid-Zeus. Like, this hero doesn't gank. He's just a farm freaking black hole. And he does deliver eventually. But if you lose the lanes, he actually has a pretty hard time really helping you fix those problems. So I don't really know what they're supposed to do. This Beastmaster has to eventually take this tower. He actually did a good job. Tier 1 tower, pretty low. They do get an OT here. Pablo gets found, but could maybe just go for a kill.
Pablo got some cogs, but Nengo can just jump out with the heavenly jump. Pablo is going to try and run away, and he'll be just fine. Salty was used in the process as well. Dismar, as you mentioned, still not level 6, does not have the Vendetta to hunt while he TPs towards mid. Jackie's bottom, and Jackie's just going to shove out the wave. And, if there's no Nyx Assassin, and you know there's no Nyx Assassin, there's also nothing to fear for the Coddle.
Yeah, not level 6, not even close, really. I mean, that's really the problem this game. Like, those supports that really become a different thing once they get level 6. You know, like Snapfire, Shadow Demon. If they don't get level 6, they feel so useless. And that's really what happened. They just got demolished in that bottom lane. And they are now in full recovery mode. You know, this Zeus is farming. But I really fear for Ravens right now.
Yeah, the fear is pretty big. Can they pull it off? Because they're 5k behind. You are playing a Dusa lineup. That's the only saving grace that they have. You are playing Dusa. They're not really good at pushing on the Madkings lineup with their heroes. I guess the Enigma is okay for it. Kara is just gone. He's off. Oh, he's not gone.
Oof, that was really cool. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, one more auto attack and he would have been absolutely cracked on the Enchantress. Because does also not have Untouchable yet. They do have Dismar now Vendetta up though. That is a pretty nice addition. RM Doesn't have infestation there. He's just going to get caught, and they will be able to zap down the Enigma. Nice hook shot in, though. Onto 2. Coming through from Pablo. Is the backup going to be there? Jackie Jokio charging forward. Can they get the damage in? Illuminate Blast. He uses it a little bit late, but still hits Nango. And a double kill for Pablo with the rocket flare of all things. Ismar going for the TP down. The cogs will not be able to block him back, but that 2-man hook shot from Pablo. Oh, mwah, finesse.
If this game isn't proof that mid Zeus is trash, I don't know what it is. Alright, you're playing against this mid hero that literally doesn't do any damage to you. You're free farming the whole game as Zeus. And what does your hero do? He dies to Clockwork that he's supposed to counter with his little jumpy. I just hate mid Zeus.
I know you hate mid Zeus, but there's a reason why it still gets picked up a lot.
It's not picked up mid a lot, dude.
It does. I casted it twice, like yesterday.
Yesterday? Which region?
Southeast Asia?
You know, SCA is not doing that well.
Oh yeah, of course. Now you're gonna blame SCA. Okay, I see. Oh no, if that region picks it up, it must not be good.
Either way, let's you know, we'll make sure that Zeus speaks for itself. All right, it's already looking amazing this game.
Just because they lost all 3 lanes doesn't mean that it's because of that hero.
Yeah, but then like he goes ganking and he just dies because it's not a mobile hero. He has the jumpy, but it's just not enough as a mid hero. Anyways, going back to the game. All right, no, I'll stop bashing mid Zeus. It can bash itself. Benjas starting to, you know, get back to the game. Obviously, still like the core of the lowest amount of farm, but this hero only cares about levels. The problem really is Jackie Tokyo. I would love to see Dismar kind of trying to collapse into him, but right now it feels like they want to kill Argentine instead. But you can see there's a lot of sentries in every lane to make it really hard for Dismar to get anywhere.
And also Argentine has 2k HP. Like, casually 2k HP on a Razor, 15 minutes in, extra 17 armor on top. Yeah, sure. Why not? Doesn't want to die. Almost done with the PKB, my god.
And I mean, we were kind of talking about lack of damage on side of Ravens. That Enigma going for the Wraith Pact and already has Vlad's. So like when you're 5, you can just jungle like that. When he can approach the enemy offlaner's farm, you know things are not looking very bright to you. I guess the good side for Ravens is that the push on side of Madkings is Garbaggio. So they're kind of trading farm. And if there's one thing Dusa likes is getting free farm. We'll see if Dodd can carry them to victory thanks to that flaw in the side of in the Madkings draft.
There is definitely a way to delay this game on their side. You can cut the creep wave with the Beastmaster pretty easily. The enchantments as well, if you get a nice enchant creep to pull the lanes back. Zeus' high ground defense is immense. Same with the Zeus high ground defense. And Zeus now has that shard, which I think is the reason why the hero, even as a support, works. Because it just does so much damage. You saw the Zeus ulti there, 9% damage for every magic spell that you do of their current HP that you burst down. It is a ton of magic burst that comes out in a brief amount of time. If you just get like 3 zaps in a fight, the entire enemy team is at like 20% HP.
You have to explain why that ability is good. Probably isn't that good.
Why static field is good? Static field is stupidly good.
It's plasma field or static link.
Static field. Zeus is the hero I'm talking about.
Oh.
His shard.
Oh. Yes.
His shard is stupidly good. That's the reason why I think support Zeus works, just because of that shard. The only reason. Well, not the only.
Yeah,
his heavenly jump's also pretty nice, but the immense damage that you just gain from having that shard, that's only a 1400 investment as well. Like, even bristlebacks die to Zeus's.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely... And now you can actually kite that bristle, right? Does low last for so long that actually like super powerful. And finally, we see Madkings. I like this. I feel like the gold advantage has been static for a while, so Raven has definitely benefited from the passiveness. But now Adrian, because they have that Vlad, they can just join pit, and it's pretty easy for them. Will there be any reactions, any smokerinos? I don't think so. There's no OT on the Zeus, so they're gonna give it away.
Yeah, and there's not really much that they could do against it regardless. I would really like to see Ars and T go for the Ags. Like, the one thing that they're really lacking is pushing, and you're up against Dusa. 6k net worth advantage is pretty nice, but Dusa's third in net worth. Got done with the Mantis, going for the Scotty. Once the Scotty is done on the Dusa, the hero becomes significantly harder to kill.
I'm surprised he didn't go for Dragonlance though, because I feel like being able to apply the Scotty as far away as possible from Ars and T is really gonna be the difference maker for him to kite that Razor and not really get all of the damage sapped. But you know, he's playing against the clock here, so feels like the Scotty is going to be better as quickly as he can get. I don't mind it. Oh, he also has the Grove Ball, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, Crobo is a pretty nice addition. 100 attack speed, 100 attack range, 20 attack speed. Even the magic resistance to enemies reduction is pretty nice. Actually works really well with split shot use modifiers.
And the Zeus, pretty good. Oh, they get a Pablo kill there. That's actually a lot of blows from Benjas.
RM from behind. Can he kill off Benjas? Well, he's at least going to delay him so Ars and T can walk in.
Piggy. He never became a piggy. Okay. Just dice.
No piggy, no Winnie.
But yeah, I mean, decent kill. I don't actually feel like they care on the side of Ravens. Black Hole gets used, and that's a lot of gold influx towards Benjas. They have Aegis anyway, so it's not like defending this tier 2 tower is really something they can do. I'm surprised they even posturing here. Cars just could be dead.
Taking a heap of damage. Chantress will be able to stay alive. Luckily enough, the untouchable slow is pretty good, and they're actually going to defend the tier 2 tower. Ars and T pop the BKB, is on the run, is actually going Blink Dagger Lincoln Sphere on the Razor. Okay, backline jumping is, I guess, the name of the game there, but they are going to get feared back, and that is starting to get pretty scary. They're definitely, this game is definitely not done yet.
Yeah, it's the anti-Dusa build, right? As long as you hop on top of that, he is gonna try and run away because he doesn't like you and he just wants to start a new family. But there's no Hurricane Pike, no real means of actually moving that. I do like the RZNT build overall, if he does get that blink.
Also, Jackie Tokyo went for an Aeon Disc. He has a Spirit Vessel bots Yule's Aeon Disc, so fairly defensive. Does not want to, get Nyx Assassin stunned and die, which makes reasonable amount of sense. But to be fair, if Zeus pops his ulti, it's gonna, I think, pop the Aeon Disc every single time.
Let's make some calculations here. It's 30%. The OT does 550 plus 9% of his HP, so that's you might be right actually. He needs that ogre axe, but he does have the Nether Shawl, so maybe that's enough too.
And there's also Thunder God's Wrath.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, it did not get popped. No, it does get
popped. It
popped
out.
Okay. And it's a little bit early. Hook shot on the back line. Pablo catches Nango, who does not have the Heavenly Jump just yet. In comes Adrian. Hello, thank you very much. Pablo, you're the man, you're the myth, you're the legend. Pablo is just playing like out of his mind on this clockwork. Every single catch that's needed is his.
I mean, rough game for Ravens. These lanes really didn't help. And now this is already some tier 3 damage. Nice rupture.
God held in place, silenced up, but Stone Gaze is on cooldown. And they do have Jackie Tokyo with the Spirit Form's on cooldown, so they don't have the spam heal at the very least. But no Stone Gaze is actually pretty problematic, because that is the biggest threat that you have. Luckily enough, Zeus is almost back. With the E-Blade Arc Lightning spam, you can shove out the lanes pretty well. Doesn't need an Aether Lens, I think.
We'll get it eventually. I also really like the Enchantress build here, just rushing the 4-step. We did talk about the lack of Pike or Dragonlance for Dusa, so they're gonna try and allow the supports to really help. The Nyx Assassin is also going for a 4-step on Dismar, This could be a really good fight. Smoke breaks. It's only an Enigma though.
M is going to get taken down. Pablo needs to jetpack his way out of there. Jetpack does end. Holds Dismar inside the cogs.
Oh, Dad.
Well, Adrian coming in from behind. Dodd does not have much to fear from Adrian so far. He's going to get bashed up. The damage is taking quite some time. Adrian just, you know, it's a hero that's great against strength heroes, but not really against the Medusa. Baiba came through as well. And they're going to lose Adrian and Arzenti, and just a 4-man kill squad coming in from the Ravens. They get themselves almost everything they need except for the Coddle. But he was not really in that fight in the slightest. And this is big. This is the chance for the Medusa to get back in the game. Because yeah, you saw in that fight, Bloodseeker just doesn't really hurt the Medusa.
Yeah, I think it was just a target acquisition mistake from the Bloodseeker. He was hitting the Dusa by himself, as you pointed out. Like, that Dusa is not really the problem. I feel like if he just joined the team, he could have killed everyone. He popped BKB to hit a Dusa that has no lockdown. It felt really awkward. So, ends up having his BKB kited. The rest of the team just joins in. All of the Madkings lineup died because the Bloodseeker was not there with them. So, yeah, don't like the way he played that fight. And they paid a hefty price. Gold advantage is now pretty negligible.
And that is Dusa top of the board. You see Nengo also catching up slowly. He's got 2 pieces of the Ag, so that's going to be more global presence coming in. RM is going to get caught again. Roared up. Zeus ulti for Nengo just to make sure that he gets that kill secured. Closer and closer he gets to his Aghanim Scepter. And yeah, they are losing complete grip of this game. Adrian the Bloodseeker is a pretty strong hero against everyone but the Dusa. And eventually that is going to be the one that is going to be doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, like, and you can see how this Zeus mid is, like, really delivering. It's one of the strongest mids in this patch, and Nengoflo is just showing that the shard is, like, really powerful. You can clearly see all of the impact coming from the hero. Pretty impressive.
Zeus, mid for the win. Yay!
His build is pretty interesting too, right? This E-Blade item. It's not necessarily a saving E-Blade either. It's just like a way to further amplify his damage.
Yeah, but for some reason when I press Alt, I don't see the damage amplification added in.
Yeah, I mean, it's in beta, but it is there.
It is annoying. It's very annoying because I really always just want to see how much damage amplification it actually is, but you know, Gaben says so we add in a very quick hotfix and then breaks half the game, so that is fun. I think I casted a game a couple of days ago where there was a Terrorblade that had 5 kills, 3 assists in a game where his team only had 5 kills. That was impressive.
Radiant's top tower has...
I mean, the armor ones are the ones that really, like, kind of trigger me. Because, like, sometimes a hero is supposed to have extra 30 armor from, like, a plate mail and a Lotus Orb and something else.
And it just vanishes. It's like,
yeah,
oh, yeah,
like,
sure, he has 3 armor. What? He has AC. How does he have 3 armor?
Well, the smoke here from the Raven. Roche a minute from spawning. So they're just mirroring here what the Madkings are doing, trying to swap tier 2 towers, but I definitely feel like this benefits Ravens a bit more because they are already positioned towards Roshan, and it's a really awkward movement for the Madkings to kind of get back this map control if they do choose to do that.
Yeah, there's wards everywhere. Well, a couple of wards placed by the Dire side, so they got the vision ready for the Roche fight, and Madkings are playing on the other side of the map. Of course, you've got Clockwork with the Rocket Flare spam to just keep an eye on when Roche respawns, but he might just lose his life here. The Roar comes in, Pablo's going to be held down, and with the Nimbus, with the Roar, with the Dismar Impale, it is easy pickings. Pablo taken care of, and he's the playmaker on the team. He's the one that you definitely need for the Roche fight.
And now another item that it was pretty much forgotten about, but with Zeus starting to become this popular, players are picking it up. The Pipe, I think, is going to be RM's next item. I don't think you just go Hood as a position 5 Enigma, so just expecting the Pipe to eventually come out.
He's going Eternal Shroud, obviously.
Oh yes, that is really the item he needs in this
Spell
game.
lifesteal with Midnight Pulse, Pog.
Beautiful. Just throw yourself in, get that lifesteal. He does buy a Windlace, which I don't mind. And Roche is alive. So that's probably going to be the next point of contention here. The smoke from Ravens could possibly just give them free Roche. They have a lot of damage with the Crystallis on this Dusa. Is this the Daedalus? No, that's a BKB. Wow. That is farmed as all hell.
Yeah, they spot out that they're taking Roche. So they have the info, but they need to move now on Madkings if they want to get there in time. Actually, they need to have moved about 30 seconds ago because Roche is already dead. Maybe we get a godlike spell. Steal, look shot in from Pablo. It's looking like he is delaying it at the very least. Dusa ulti has been used to roll onto RZT, and while he's BKB'd, RZT will be smacked down by Dad, and he picks up the Age, he picks up the shard. They're looking for more. RM is trying to disengage, but the blade, the damage, the zaps, the everything, he should fall. Even though Nengo really should not have E-bladed him there, considering Dad was right-clicking him. But regardless, it is going to be the team fight. Massive victory for Ravens.
Dude, twice in a row, I was really confident that the Dusa was going to be pushed outside the pit there by the cogs. And it didn't happen. That could have been disastrous for Ravens, but, you know, didn't actually happen. And that's the thing with the Ravens draft. As long as they get what, the experience and the items on those heroes, they eventually just become really strong. And I feel like Madkings, even though they had that massive advantage, their draft didn't allow for them to pressure the towers as fast as maybe they needed to. They also played very passively in general. They didn't go for any smokes. So like at 10 minutes, the gold advantage was 5k, and at 90 minutes, it was like 6k. So over time, this benefited Ravens a lot. And now Kara will die once again. Poor little deer.
Yeah, it's also I really think that the Kado's item build was too passive, too defensive. I know you're playing against the Nyx and the Zeus and it's fairly scary, but you're gonna need to get more tools earlier to really become a threat on the Kado instead of just like an extra in the fights. Because that's kind of the problem with their entire lineup. They just lack damage severely. They're trying to disengage. Nengo's in a bit of a trouble. Pablo walking in, but Nengo's still alive and he's gonna zap away. Black hole from RM gets a catch onto Dismar, but RM actually catches Dadu, scurries in. Nonetheless, still the kills coming through, and they will force the entirety of Madkings back. The only one that they did lose on the dire side was the Enchantress, but that was way earlier towards the bottom lane. And this Deuce is just too strong. Even trying to kill off the Zeus at this stage is going to be nigh impossible. He's almost done with the Refresh Orb. Double Nimbus, double Thunder God's Wrath, and the entire enemy team is at like 20% health.
Yeah, to me that screams we are panicking a little bit. Like, I mean, sure, you killed a hero on the Kara Enchantress, but is that really enough for you to take a fight against a freaking Aegis Dusa and you even use Black Hole? I think that was way too overeager for Madkings, and this might actually push Ravens forward even longer now, because they still have like 2 minutes of this Aegis duration. Daedalus on that. He is gonna whip everyone's butt with all the damage.
Yeah, he's also going for the split shot, uses modifiers. Looking, it seems to also build the MKB. Well, split shot uses modifiers with the Daedalus, a Scotty, and then MKB means he gets 3 hits off, the entire enemy team gets destroyed. I do like that the Razor now has his Blink Dagger together with that Heaven's Halberd, but, you know, they were lacking in one thing on Madkings that really was detrimental to their draft and their playstyle, and that's just they don't have push. It's the Enigma that's the push, but it's a support. RZT does get the BKB off in time. RM does die on the side. Rupture gets thrown out. Benjus is he's just going to be chilling because Dad's running in with that Stone Gaze to try and keep them at bay for the time being. And Benjus will get the TP back to safety, but now there's also no Enigma, so that means no Wraith back for the next fight if they're going to go for the high ground push. Yeah, I think this game is over. Madkings just took too long to push.
Yeah, I agree with your point about the Kato build as well. He just wants to be this nuisance that, you know, stays alive and keeps pushing the Dusa, because you're obviously not gonna burst her with like a Dagon or something like that. But it also feels like why are you picking Kotl then? Because your hero's not, like, just pushing the Dusa and tickling her with eliminate damage might not be enough. They do jump in, though.
Oh, they are going to go for the fight. Dismar does get taken down by Jackie Tokyo. They pop the Aegis. Pablo's looking for the backline to keep them at the very least away. Will die in the process. Can they kill off Dad again? Is the big question. The answer is most definitely going to be no. Or is it? He does get slowed slightly, but he does have a Manta. He also has a BKB still available. Blink Dagger to be delivered to Dad. A 1-for-1 trade with the Nyx Assassin, making it a dieback, but yeah, it's still... You do get rid of the Aegis at the very least. So there's a little bit of a glimmer. Maybe if you have Black Hole available with a Blink Dagger and you could get a really good catch, they can still turn the fight in their favor, but for the most part, you're just really banking on Ravens making mistakes.
Yeah, this is such a weird game for the Enigma. Like you know, you don't want to go Blink because you're only going to be useful once you have Blink BKB, and even still, there's Beastmaster. So I understand why he went for this Hood, but he also feels super useless. Like, he just dies to anything. This Hood doesn't feel to be accomplishing a lot to either him or the team. So even though he got this really quick Wraith Pact, never felt like he mattered that much.
Yeah, it's a nice item. I especially like the Vlads for if you're gonna, you know, push with the Eidolons and such, but that's the only thing that's really problematic with their draft. It's just, maybe if the Razor had that Ags earlier on, they could have, like, gotten some high ground push and try and break the base before the Dusa got too strong. Because that's kind of the only way you win against the Dusa. Either you have multiple heroes that fight super well in late game. Sometimes an Ursa can do it, but most of the time it comes down to win the game before Dusa gets Scotty.
I think the problem is that they don't push, so what they can do, and they are capable of doing, is hunting this Dusa with the Clock plus the Kotl. But they actually traded farm instead of, like, hunting her, pushing her away from the jungle. They literally just allowed that to free farm. And now he's gonna farm an Enigma here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's actually stolen. Zeus wants it.
Yeah, showing you exactly mid Zeus is the way to go. Easy for Nango.
Portrait of Zeus is so weird for me.
The portrait?
Yeah, is it weird for you?
It
feels like he's a zombie.
Kind of does look a little bit zombie-like, but he does look very shiny, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, mine doesn't move, and the way the picture is it's really weird. Oh, blood here.
Oh.
To save GPU processing power.
Really?
Oh my god, that's a refresher. Yep.
That is sad.
I mean, that's what happens, you know. The crypto guys are buying all the GPUs, and I have to stay with my shitty 1070. But mid lane, they find a dad.
They don't have Avian, so they don't have damage. It's a nice attempt, but eventually you're just lacking your safe lane. And if he had a buyback there, that might have actually been pretty advantageous to get that quick kill. But he bought the Blink Dagger now on the Bloodseeker, and that means he does not have a buyback available for this next push. And the next push will, I mean, they threw everything on the Dusa and he just did not care.
Click on the Enigma. He buys a Blink. He has a hidden smoke. I wonder if they'll try to do anything cheeky with this recent purchase.
Kind of needs to. The problem is they have a multitude of ways of interrupting it. Zeus needs to be in the black hole. Beastmaster needs to be in the black hole. Nyx Assassin without Spike Carapace needs to be in the black hole. And Dusa needs to be in the black hole. So, yeah, you just need a 4-man black hole, and they need to have not used a single spell prior.
Yeah, they're definitely hard, but you know, maybe with this Roche being up and a lot of heroes being inside the pit, could be Madkings' best chance. The good advantage definitely getting a little bit out of control here, and a little bit is definitely an understatement. But they will leave their base. Smoke breaks here. They do see Dismar, I think. Oh, what? He hookshot a Hawk.
T, Razor in trouble, does have BKB in a second, get the pop off. Vengeance is going to be the target, in comes Dad with nice black hole from RM, holds him in place, but he's just going to get cracked. No BKB means no chance to stay alive. Adrian slowed down to almost a dead stop. Look at that slow zap from Nengo, godlike on the Zeus, going for Jackie Tokyo, just smacking away, does have that E-Blade available, doesn't even use it though. But, you know, you got that godlike Zeus, that horrible mid-lane Zeus. Ew, ew, ew. I mean, Dodd doesn't even have a single kill. That's how terrible the Deuce is playing.
I mean, yeah. All I say is that this is definitely the type of game that we see in Division 2. Like, you get this massive advantage, but you struggle to really close out the game. I agree that they don't have push, but I think they could have done a much better job at choking Ravens. Just hunting that a little bit more. They have a Clockwork. There was never, you know, a Pike or a 4-step on the Anch because she was really far behind. But everyone on the side of Ravens was just allowed to free farm. Whilst, you know, the Scuttle going for a no damage build, as you talked about. Whilst this Enigma couldn't really go for an aggressive build either because of the matchups on the side of Ravens. So kind of a mixture of Ravens playing really well and Madkings being very, very passive.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of the item choices and the problems. Like, in this game, I would have loved to see an Aghanim Scepter, for instance, for the Coddle, or just E-Blade himself, maybe the Dagon to just get hyper-aggressive in the game. I just think when he built up the Aeon Disc after he bought the bots, Spirit Vessel, Yules, I was really, like, doubt. That's why I said, you know, Zeus pops his ulti and then Aeon Disc gets popped. So that's literally your Aeon Disc, what it does. You walk around, Zeus just does a scouting ulti at the moment, and your Aeon Disc is popped. That's your, like, 3 point, what, how much does it cost? 3k investment, and it's just gone immediately.
Yeah, dude. Feels like my investments. Pretty bad choice, not gonna lie. And
Hodl,
in terms of, like, in terms of coming back here, I guess, you know, 25 on the Bloodseeker wouldn't hurt. Maybe 4,000 gold in the Enigma would be nice because he needs a BKB badly. I feel like, what does Dota Plus think here? He thinks this is a 96%, so pretty generous 4% for Madkings.
He has faith, somehow-ish, against a Dad Dusa that has a, you know, a free Ags on top, is almost 4 DK net worth.
Maybe Dota Plus also doesn't have a dad, so he's envious.
Yeah, he just wants Dad
to lose. So he can feel how he felt in his infancy. Oh, nice blink.
He's just hoping that if Dad is finally done, he might go home.
Then Midnight Pulse here, zoning pretty hard. Already has that level 15 talent. So against a hero like Dusa, that definitely hurts. You gotta respect the duration, but that is that Clockwork with no buyback.
Oh my god, wait, is that his... That's his first kill on Dad. Pog!
Oh.
Dusa gets his first kill of the game.
1-1-14.
That's a very interesting score. Like, if he would have won the game without a single kill, that would have been even better.
I mean, you know, they definitely have ways of delaying this. The Midnight Pulse definitely makes it hard for this Dusa to go high ground. They have the Illuminate, but it feels like they're delaying for nothing because they don't have damage.
Yeah, it's just it's a struggle bus kind of scenario.
And if there's one thing Zeus has, is damage. You know, I felt like he was just gonna be dove. He was gonna die very often, but definitely
Jackie, stunned up. Gotta get himself back. Jackie's spamming away. That's the plus of the Octarine. You're permanently in your spirit form at the very least, but it doesn't really do much against the Dusa either. That's a very big downside.
Oh yeah, Clockwork might just be dead again.
Right, the hook shot in. He's gonna get stunned up, and he does falter. Dad just gonna disengage. Actually, they're going in the roar onto Rs and T. He's gonna get stunned for quite some time. Dad might lose his first life. Will be the case. Dismar is actually inside. They're all inside that Nimbus. And the black hole from RM gets a 3-man black hole. Oh my god, the damage doesn't come through. Adrian's trying to go for the fight, but Dad does pop the stone gaze, and they are still all in trouble. RM, very nice attempt, but in the end, this Deuce is just too big. Yeah, they will just shut him down. This is just cleanup crew. They also have the impetus coming in from Kara on that Enchantress, getting a little bit of payback after the horrible laning stage that he had against Argentine.
Still was better than I expected. I didn't expect Madkings to get a single kill there. So pretty commendable, and they're still trying to go here. Midnight Pulse is super scary, so they could even defend this melee barracks, although they spent an arm and a leg for the right. Okay.
Pablo, 2-man catch. Needs help quickly. He holds them in place for 3 seconds while they're focusing after the Enchantress, which makes it very sad. They do buy back on the Zeus, but Argentine is just gonna die. That's all there is to it. He's just gonna die. Adrian dodges the Impale, gets the blink back, and Dismar, the power of an assassin versus the Coddle, is pure annoyance.
Has that Spike Carapace talent, has the minus status resistance on the ceremonial robe. It's super annoying to deal with.
Tokyo, BKB pop, but Dad jumps in aggressive, Roar comes out, Jack Tokyo is about to die, 125 seconds, no buyback. And the G to the G is right there, Red Monster. They give up in this game. I actually commend them for, hanging around for this long. Because normally in such a game, it comes down to 2 seconds to, some farm. Keeps even in farm. They win one fight, and the game is just out of control. And that is kind of how this happened. It's a classic Dusa example. And it's also because it was not only the Dusa, you also had the Zeus behind it, and he didn't even have to join any of the fights. He just had like Dismar scouting around. Any stun that he landed was a free kill for Nengo in the end.
Yeah, it's pretty rough game because it felt like Madkings played the lanes really well, but when you lose like that, it can definitely be demoralizing. I thought that their draft was pretty okay. Obviously, because of the way things unfolded, it was just much easier for Ravens to get structures once Benjaz came back into the game. But I just hope they go for something. We talked about them being aggressive. I don't think that's really what happened past minute 10. So I think they were a little bit too cheeky, a little bit too over the top with this mid Coddle 5 Enigma. Just get something more simple. Just get like stuns and run at people, and with the lanes that they got, I think they could have easily cleaned this game with a different draft. So that's what I'm expecting moving forward. Just less of a crazy flexy sort of draft, and just get heroes that do stuff. Because it felt like, even though RZT, Adrian, and Pablo had really good lanes, RM and Jackie Tokyo were not in a position where they could enable everyone else to play together and slow down them way too much.
Yeah, definitely a game where, some push would have been beneficial for Madkings. I quickly just checked, and if you check out the Zeus's damage dealt, like, his second strongest damage dealing spell, which did twice the damage of Nimbus and more than twice the damage of Arc Lightning, is Static Field. It's a stupid shard. It's so broken. It did 18.6k damage that game. Just the shard.
He actually dealt more damage than all of the other Ravens heroes combined. If you actually sum the hero, the damage dealt by Dusa, by Beastmaster, by Nyx, and Enchantress, Zeus dealt more damage. So
yep. Ergo mid
Hero does damage.
There's this one Brazilian analyst that hates Zeus so much. Oh, he despises the Zeus. But he was like,
do.
Oh, if there's ever a proof that Zeus mid doesn't work, this is the game. Guess what? Zeus mid
did not
works.
Change my mind. It did not change my mind whatsoever. They literally AFK farmed, watched that Zeus get farmed. But still, definitely, Ravens match to win. They played really well. They came back from a pretty demoralizing early game. And also, if they win this, they are solidifying the second slot towards Division 1, which would be awesome for them. They've been, looking pretty good for a while. They didn't really made it in Tour 2. Looks like Tour 3 is going to be, it's looking like they finally get back to play with the big boys in Division 1.
Yep, Brave. Yeah, last season they got very close as well. This season might just be theirs to take it towards Division 1. Madkings, they still have a chance, of course, to force out tiebreakers, but that will be decided in game number 2. We'll be going towards a short little break until game number 2 starts. We'll be right back.